Carrie and Michael, and where's the others? Two more, right?
Ryan is not there. Carrie is not there.
Carrie and Ryan.
Carrie is who I'm thinking of.
Yes,
Okay.
Well, she lived
okay.
over at Cupar. She never got there, no. And Terry, this is in his yard, and he's just built a big new piece on his house out in the country, 12 miles south of Weyburn.
So Troy.
Terry.
Troy's
he's
Meredith's son.
Yeah.
But he's not. They're not. None of them are in this
Oh,
picture.
no.
So this is just Clint's kid.
Yeah.
Is that right, Clint?
Yeah. Well, you see, Lynn.
Well, there's the three brothers.
They're not. Lynn isn't even.
Lynn's not there either. That's right.
No, she was hardly ever in. That's Clint's wife.
Yeah.
That's Cindy.
Cindy. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So there's the three boys.
And that was that me.
Okay.
You know.
I'm
You're
glad.
not taking a picture.
I'm glad that Ralph was in her life though, because it did add a really.
Oh well, yes, and the
we
last.
we never worried about her.
No, I'm sure
it
you
was
did.
it was a real relief.
Uh-huh.
And not that, but it's just safety.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
What not to the, So
Yeah.
it was a good thing. It was a good thing.
Oh,
But
I
Ralph
liked
was
I
good.
liked
was
Ralph. He was a
man.
good guy. He
a
was
good
funny.
man. Yeah.
He was a fun guy, you know.
He's one, what do you call it?
He had kind of a joie de vivre about him, didn't he?
Yeah.
And, you know.
But I liked Ralph. He was a very good man. He was a very good grandfather to all of us.
Was he?
Oh, I'm sure he
Yes.
was. Yes,
To our
yes.
kids.
He thought a lot of the and
But you know where I was last Sunday?
I could do something, but I won't.
Because
For the camera.
last Sunday, Alice invited Sandra and Glenn and I and Donna up for fowl supper in North Belford. Now
Yes.
Donna couldn't make it because she was invited out with the Keegans and Brian and Becky. But the three of us drove up to.
Yeah, because for that.
yes, and that's the day we moved here.
1960.
Christmas
you
Eve.
left school.
Yeah.
You didn't finish high school here, did you?
No,
That's right.
no.
You were the, what do you call it, the renegade?
Yeah, he took off for Toronto. Was gone there for 18 years, weren't you?
12.
12 years, was it?
Yeah, I lived there for 12 years. That's where I got my electronics training.
That's where you
Toronto,
did.
yeah.
Yeah, uh-huh.
And, yeah, that was,
It's kind of lost touch there until we moved out there.
well, I felt so bad. One, because Elaine was just, she just was such a bag of hammers. I just felt so bad because I loved you guys. I mean, but she was just, there was just friction big time. 'Cause she just,
What's wrong with your mouth? And it was his ear. Finally, we found out that it was his ear, and it was, it had,
abscessed?
yeah, well, almost.
Was it your Clint's ear?
Yes, so Vernon and Ed Conrad, I couldn't take you because you were crying and in bad shape, but so bundled up, and Ed Conrad and Vernon took Clint to the hospital.
In the middle of the night.
Well, no, this was in the daytime.
Oh,
This
wow.
was the night. You didn't go in the night. You would lose your horses and everything else. In the snow that winter, it was just wicked.
Wow.
That was a terrible winter. Yeah, the snow was so deep. Well, you didn't go down road lances because that's what fills in first, So then you go across fields, and the fields just looked. A hollow looks like a hill. It's all flat, so you drive the horses and get the horses down. And it was terrible until they got a road through, and then if it didn't drift in, so you could follow it, It was, and you went around miles. It seemed to get around through fields and that to get to 8 miles to town.
That's when you were on the farm?
Oh yes, of course. And that Clint was in a whole week in the hospital with that.
Well, I came home by horse and cutter, right?
Oh yeah, and Ed Conrad's
You mean you were born in the hospital?
Oh
and,
yeah.
And so this new baby had to be brought in.
In a horse and cutter, yeah.
Really?
No, I was
Well, it's
in-
December.
Yeah, well, January, yeah.
Vernon thought I had to
Yeah.
go to town and stay with Mother because he said I don't want to have to get up in the night and get you
Yeah.
to town
That's
to have
right.
that baby. And so when it come, I few days ahead of time that I went to town and stayed with Mother.
And that makes sense because interestingly, you were born in December and I was born in September. And Mom and Dad were living in Winnipeg at the time.
Yeah,
They had so much snow that the rivers were all flooding, and that was the big flood of Winnipeg.
Oh,
They had
wow.
that huge flood that year. So Dad sent Mom early to stay with Grandma in Wawota because he knew the same thing. If with the flooding, he'd never be able to get her to the hospital on time, and so he sent her there to be on the safe side. I was born in Wawota.
Oh,
Wow,
Dr. Clement,
interesting.
That's amazing.
That's the same year.
Yeah.
and that come on Dr.
From the
Clements.
Yeah.
bad winter for
Gee.
you. And in fact, I think, over 2 weeks old before my dad even saw me. Because all the able-bodied men in Winnipeg had to do sandbagging.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anybody like Dad, I mean, they were all
Yeah,
working. They had to
sure.
stay and help keep the river from flooding the whole city.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yes, and now it's funny because those
Those connections.
two connections with
Yes.
the bad winter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, I went a weekend, I was at Mother's, and this day I said, I don't feel very good, I'm going to go to the doctor. And of course walked, down to the doctor's office, and he said, I'm going to put you in the hospital. And so I didn't go home again, I went straight to the hospital. And Clinton was with me, you see, because he was only 3. And so Vernon was alone out on the farm with Stewart. Who did he have?
Well, Meredith would be there.
Yeah, Meredith was, yeah,
He'd be
9. That's
yeah.
right. That's Meredith, and he said how they went to town with the sleigh at Christmas Day. And it was so full, he said, I remember he said he can tell you, he got out and walked and.
Did they have that? Because I remember seeing in the yard the sleigh with a little,
Heater.
no, the hut, like the little.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Is that how you went in and out? Or was
No,
that,
no, this
Was that
was an
from Brad-
open
from-
sleigh.
Was that from your dad's day? Who built that? Was that your dad? Or
No,
was it-
no,
was that-
Dad never had it.
So it must have been from your day.
Yeah, what, that
It was. You could
that?
tell it was man-made, like it was
Oh, yeah,
homemade.
that was that little
That was-
old thing.
Do you know what I'm talking?
Close in cutter.
Well, is that
Yeah.
Oh, no,
the,
you're not,
is
you're
that
not
the
talking
one
about
at
the snow plane.
Terry's?
I'm talking about the
Snow
snow plane, are you?
It was like a little house, the windows,
Well, I think that was the
and it had
Okay.
it had the
Okay.
heater in it.
well, and the I don't know about the heater, but maybe it did. But it had the tracks. What do you call them?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, of course, sleigh
Snow.
runners. Oh,
Yeah.
yes, of course,
Because
yes.
I remember thinking because that was a real novelty.
Oh, yeah. I
Oh,
guess
yes.
so,
yeah.
Well, there was
Yeah.
quite a few people at different things like that, sure.
Okay, so
Anything.
it's so cold, I mean,
So
you just.
cold
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
to face.
That's what. Yeah.
Well, I remember going to school with Willard Thompson, our neighbor,
Yeah,
and he had a heater in there, and the horses, and he had,
Just
he
to
had
cut out.
a little window cut out like
see.
theirs to,
Yep.
the
Mhm.
horses,
The
the
reins.
reins like that, yeah, and it was just unbelievable. You said the average temperature in January,
yeah.
50,
Minus 26 that year.
26 below. That's Fahrenheit.
That's
That's the
Fahrenheit,
average,
that's,
yeah.
yes, average of
See
that.
why I'm going to keep that house in Dallas?
Stretchy Smith. You saw him on TV.
Oh, he's in the. He's in
There's
the
flags
car.
flying all over the place again.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, and beholding Saskatchewan.
He has hair
I think I
drying.
never very
Oh,
good
no.
success with them.
What's that?
Sit back there.
You like
Ooh, look at